Alright guys, just want to hang out today. Dude, Kane Pixels just dropped a new video called Story of the Giant or something. I'm trying to find it. Oh, give me a second.
You have some experience with position.
There you go, Kane Pixels, trying to get to him. And Life of a Giant. My it's called Rolling Giant. Rolling Giant. If you have not seen Rolling Giant, you gotta go see it, guys. It's a mess. From the first video. There it is, the Julian Rivershun Giant. It's an actual real thing, by the way. There's the Barack Obama Giant. There's the mall. I think they were showing how it got abandoned. And if the mall got abandoned. We're gonna show a video of them tearing down the mall. Is this like an oldest view video, or is this like a fun video? Man, that sucks. It's kind of sad to see that mall be destroyed. So many old memories, so many fun times, so many memories made. All gone, demolished, destroyed forever. Now the Giants falling over. Then now the Giant has no, it's just its base, it's gone. And there it is, a video of Julian Rivershun, whatever his name is. What the hell? It's an old temple. I want to watch a video. I've been saying it to watch for a while. It's called AR-15, the most controversial rifle. People think it's a new gun, but it's not.
With limited carry options, responsible gun owners know the frustrations that come with carrying a...
On this channel, we've explored a myriad of mega projects, some of them righteous, others...
Mega projects!
The AR-15, often dubbed America's rifle, is all the more...
It's not America's rifle. AR means Armalite.
In an ever more authoritarian world and decried by others as a hateful implement fit only for the mass murder of children. And the AR-15 is certainly nothing if not...
AR-15, light, 5.56, civilian issue rifle. Very light, very accurate, very reliable. I've rented one at a shooting range. They are light as hell. They hit stuff very far away, even with irons. Whereas 22s, with irons, I couldn't hit anything with the roughly the same length of barrel. AR-15s are perfect. They're a perfect rifle. Even a full magazine's very light with an AR-15. They're so nice.
Shall we filtering facts from fiction and taking an unbiased look at the reality of the rifle, exploring its history, its popularity with both civilians and militaries, and tragically its use in mass shootings. So prior to the developments of the AR-15 in 1957, firearm technology was amid a revolution. Militaries the world over had noticed that their World War II era service rifles simply didn't cut the mustard anymore, with their large full-size rifle rounds simply being overkill for modern battlefield. The Germans had found a solution to this during the war with their STG-44, a rifle that combined a shortened round with the ability to fire in both
Sturmgewehr
fully automatic modes, the select fire configuration that would later become known as an assault rifle. This was simply revolutionary, combining the range and power of a rifle with the versatility of a submachine gun. Understandably, the militaries of the world looked on with envy at the STG-44, and it wasn't long until they wanted something similar for themselves. The Soviet bloc's answer was the venerable AK-47, for the British it was the EM2, and for the Americans, well, they ended up disregarding the lessons of the STG-44 completely and adopted the M14 in 1957, a select-fire rifle that fired the old full-size rifle rounds, a configuration known as a battle rifle. This baffling decision was the result of a conservative faction within the American military-industrial complex. Big bullets had worked since the 19th century, damn it, and they didn't need any of this new, abandoned nonsense. This faction used its political capital to impose its will, and thus America was shackled with the M14, a rifle that was big, heavy, and uncontrollable when firing fully automatic. Worse still, through NATO, this choice was forced on all of America's allies, with the British being forced to abandon the EM2 and adopting the FN FAL in its place, the West Germans adopting the G3, the Italians the BM59, and so on. All of these being battle
the right arm of the free world.
This choice came back to bite America on the rear, with the M14 service in Vietnam being absolutely disastrous, and that's putting it lightly. Thus, it quickly found itself on the chopping block and began to be replaced in frontline service from 1964, a mere 5 years after it was first adopted. And this is where the AR-15 enters the picture, which had been sat gathering dust since its creation in 1957, waiting for this exact moment. Just before we continue in today's
I was wrong, it's not 54, it's 57.
about something that is becoming more essential every day, and that's online privacy and security. You see, the internet can be a pretty wild place. Protecting your online activity is an absolute must, and that's where Surfshark VPN comes in. So what's the deal? Well, Surfshark solves a problem that we all face, keeping our online activity private and secure. It's like putting on a virtual mask for your internet life. No more worrying about prying eyes, hackers, or nosy advertisers. Surfshark has got your back. And let's talk a little bit about practicality. Surfshark is extremely doing the work from where I'm supposed to. Employee of the Armalite Corporation.
Eugene Stoner. Oh, that's the AR-10. Oh God! The charge handle is this hook. It's a FAMAS hook. Look, you see that hook on the top? You pull that back. Ew! Why? I mean, hey, the AR had to start from somewhere, right?
It comes from, it doesn't He was a man whose work was driven by two principles: efficiency and sophistication. And thus, when it came to designing the AR-15, he envisioned a rifle that combined cutting-edge design cues with simple manufacturing techniques. Fortunately, he already had a head start in getting to work, as in 1956 he had designed the AR-10, a battle rifle he had hoped would win the M14 contract.
I've heard of the AR-10. It's an old-looking rifle. Look at that. It's an old gun.
Characterized by utilization of lightweight aluminium and phenolic composite to reduce weight, and by a distinctive direct impingement gas system, which forewent a traditional piston in favor of directing propellant gas backward directly into the bulk carrier, thus reducing parts and further lightening the weapon, it was exemplary of Stoner's principles of efficient sophistication. But despite its merits, and likely because of some bribery and other funny business, the AR-10 had been a commercial flop, failing to be selected for the M14 contract and selling barely 10,000 units to a handful of militaries. But now, thanks to it, with Stoner eager to set about making a rifle chambered in the intermediate 5.56 by 45mm cartridge, he found himself with a hell of a head start. Knowing this, if you look at the AR-10 and AR-15 side by side and see how alike they are, you may be tempted to assume that Stoner simply shrunk his earlier work when making the AR-15, and, well, you'd be absolutely right. The AR-15 retained the direct impingement gas system and heavy use of aluminium and phenolic composites as originally designed for the AR-10. Furthermore, introducing Gun Gun! Discover
I want to
the
go.
most realistic miniature gun models of all time. Also retained the same charging handle, magazine release, safety selector, carry handle, rear sight aperture, pistol grip, and select fire configuration of the AR-10. It really was just a shrunken down version. The finished AR-15 was truly a thing to behold. All of Eugene Stoner's principles coming together in just the right way to create the very rifle that the world seemed to be clamoring for. All that was left to do now was announce it to the world and wait for the orders to come flowing in. And unfortunately that didn't happen, because what he had actually made was the rifle that the world would need later, because if you recall, the American military adopted the M14 in the same year that the AR-15 was finished, and its replacement was 7 years away. In the meantime, Armalite had bills to pay, and the AR-15, having sold just a handful of units to private citizens and the old police force, wasn't earning them any money, and so in what has to be one of the worst business decisions in all of history, they sold the rights to Colt in 1959. Colt, aware of the absolute gold mine that they had just acquired, wasted no time in tinkering with the AR-15's design to optimize the salability, with the main modification being relocating the charging handle from underneath the carry handle, a location they deemed clumsy and unergonomic, to the rear of the receiver. Then, it was marketed to the world.
A lot of ARs have this charge handle, and it's located on the very top of the gun. Like, you got it, unlike, you know, going like this, you gotta pull back the bolt. You have to go kind of like with your two fingers, as if you're charging it with a bow, which is pretty cool. It's got its perks, but it's got its downsides. It's hard to take your hand and go like this. You have to take both your fingers. However, one cool thing about the AR-15 platforms is that if you finish off your magazine, you can take your mag out, put a new one in, and you can click a button on the side, and it loads the gun for you. It snaps the bolt back, which is pretty good. So all you gotta do is go drop, basically, if I demonstrate with a gun, look at that. Almost like with a Nerf gun like this, all you gotta do, you just gotta go boom, boom, like smack it like that, smack the button, bolt closes back, and you're done. Reloaded. I just don't have, I barely have anything negative to say about the AR-15s in the AR platform. I mean, the only thing that's really bad about them is that they're used in school shootings a lot, and they're used in like shootings like Columbine, which is really sad because the AR-15 is a really fun rifle to shoot, and its legacy is tarnished permanently because of these tragedies.
Now, to say Colt's advertising drive went well would be a little bit of an understatement. Their first sale came in September 1959, when Malaya purchased 4,000 examples for its military, with orders from Panama and Sudan soon following. But orders like this, while being the stuff that Armalite could have only dreamt of, were but drops in the ocean of the AR-15's full potential, which would come 5 years later when the M14 got the axe and the AR-15 was chosen to replace it. But the road to that deal was a long and hard one. Much machinating and schmoozing done on the part of Colt to make sure that they secured it. They had their first taste of success in July 1960, when, following a stirring demonstration, they managed to win the favour of General Curtis LeMay, Vice Chief of Staff of the United States Air Force. He ordered 8,500 units in order to conduct his own extensive testing, pitting it against the M14 in a number of trials that showed that, courtesy of its smaller caliber cartridge, it was actually controllable when firing fully automatic, and courtesy of this, the AR-15 was one of its first valuable ally in the US military. LeMay was promoted to Chief of Staff of the Air Force in June 1961, and he immediately used his newfound position to begin further fighting the AR-15's corner, requesting another 80,000 to be purchased with a view to slowly rolling it out to the troops for extended combat trials in Vietnam. Unfortunately, he found significant resistance from General Maxwell Taylor, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and President John F. Kennedy.
That's big names right there.
Logistical issues of supplying two different rifle calibers in the field. Meanwhile, as a high-level ensued, the AR-15 quietly made its combat debut in October 1961, with the US Army Special Forces procuring 1,000 of them and sending them straight to Vietnam, where they were taken aback by the AR-15's careful balance of firepower and controllability, thus winning it another valuable ally. But the man who held the ultimate power to replace the M14 with the AR-15, Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara, found himself torn on the matter. With differing opinions coming at him from all angles, he arranged a comprehensive side-by-side test of the M14, AR-15, and AK-47. Unfortunately, Colt shot themselves in the foot when there was no need to, attempting to rig the tests in their favour, which, when exposed, turned McNamara against them altogether. It took nearly 2 years for McNamara's emotions to settle, at which point, in January 1963, he finally admitted that the AR-15 was the way forward for the US military, and sent Colt a list of modifications to make before he was willing to accept it for military use, with the main change requested being a chrome-plated chamber that would be more resistant to corrosion. It was formally adopted in March 1964 and given a new name by the military, the M16. From here...
Yeah, not a good gun. M16 is not a good gun. M16A1, though, is good.
Rifle to this day, having gone through numerous iterations to adapt to ever-changing tactical needs and technological advancements. The first iteration was the M16A1 in 1967, which was given a forward assist to help operators push misfeeds into battery and a chrome-plated
Yeah, it's got this like little tube, so you push it.
The M16,
Push the bullet into place.
A4, which were adopted in 1983, 1996, and 1997 respectively, brought forth incremental improvements in sights, barrel, and ergonomic aspects, with the major change that we need to worry about being the complete omission of fully automatic fire from the A4 onwards in favour of a 3-round burst mode. The M4 shortened carbine model of the M16 was also adopted in 1994, and unlike the A4, this retains fully automatic capabilities. All in all, over 10 million M16s have been manufactured for the US military since it was adopted. The M16 has also seen incredible success overseas, with over 80 militaries having used various models of it at one point or another. Some, like the Philippines and Mexico, use American-made examples, but others, like both Koreas, manufacture their own models domestically.
Yeah, there's a lot of civilian use for the AR-15.
We have no idea just what the AR-15s are in certain Further complicating this is the unreliability of think tanks when it comes to any matter gun-related. American think tanks are fiercely partisan when it comes to guns, with those which are typically pro-gun downplaying the numbers of their black freedom sticks in circulation as to not tempt further regulation, and those which are anti-gun typically overplaying the numbers of further regulation. But if we collate the few reliable estimates available, there are
Jesus, that's a lot. That's an AR for every, like, what, 10 people in the US? Because it... I mean, from personal use from a gun range years ago, it's perfect. When I used it, it's perfect. The gun was light, I could use it. It was just perfect. It was one of the best guns I've ever used. I couldn't believe its absolute efficiency at operation. Very well built, well crafted rifle. And they're dirt cheap too. People are like, oh my gosh! They're like, assault! Okay, you know what? Hold on. Let's see. They're like, oh, you want to see assault rifles? Oh, they're all like ARs are assault rifles. They're extremely dangerous. And what's it called? You want to see what an assault rifle is? AR-15s, is, in my opinion, are definitely not assault rifles. This is an assault rifle.
I have a machine
right
gun.
Here. Let me rewind that.
Paycock 45 here. Now I have a machine gun.
This is an assault rifle. Right there. Yeah, you notice why it's a sort of, it's automatic, okay? It's an automatic rifle and it's capable of select fire. Well, the big problem with assault rifle as a term is that it is so unclear. There's different definitions for the word assault rifle. It could be a long rifle. For assault weapon, it could be a pistol, which is a stupid definition in my opinion for assault rifle. My state classifies a pistol as an assault weapon because 9mm will blow your lung out. Because apparently, you know, no one's heard of Tippy Active Express yet. And they said 9mm will blow your lung out. 308 does that, buddy. I know. But like, it makes me sad to like ban these weapons. Like, by the way, I'm sorry if I speak on the subject. It's a very controversial. I'm trying to be very careful and step around the lines a little bit. Because, in my opinion, should there be gun regulation? Yes. you know, to a point, right? I don't think you should be able to go into a store and just get an automatic weapon and use it. And you can't. You have to have a federal license in order to do so. Which is, I think, is acceptable because, again, if automatic weapons were so accessible, the rate of shooting currently would skyrocket. And before anybody asks, I'm a very pro-gun person. I don't think guns should be banned. I mean, it's our Second Amendment right. It was written in 1776. It is our given right to have the ability to own arms. But it stinks when you have people infringing on it. You know, like, I have no want or desire to harm anybody that doesn't want to harm me. Right? I only use a gun in a harmful action against self in a self-defense. Basically, if someone's coming at me and trying to attack me, then I'll defend. Right? That's just stand your ground and stuff like that. But like, yeah, that's a whole other thing. It's like, if you guys think AR-15s are the problem, I will admit they are kind of dumb problems. No, technically no. It's the people that use it, right? If the AR-15 is such a problem, right? Then right now, like, put one on a table, load it, charge it, put it on fire, put it on a table, and don't touch it. It's not gonna hurt you. It's because the person behind the rifle is the person that's responsible. Not the AR-15s are not responsible. No gun has ever been responsible for a shooting. It's the shooter. There's thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people that own AR-15s that are law-abiding citizens would never do an action like this. And on a side note, one of the things I hate about modern media is that before the media even, you know, says, you know, like, you know, their sorrows towards the victims, like, before they even, like, put them in the spotlight, they always look at the shooter and they're like, what gender are they? What ethnicity? What race? And then after whatever race, whatever gender they are, is going to be discriminated against for the next 6 months because, oh, if a girl shot the school up, every girl will shoot her. That's not true. And that's a sad state of America right now. Because do you realize, you kind of like feel that after the Nashville shooting, a lot of trans people got hate. Just like after 9/11, a lot of Muslims got hate. And after the Israeli war, like after the war that's happening right now in like Hamas, if I'm not wrong, or Israel, a lot of anti-Semitism is brought out. And that's what's sad about American society, is that when a problem occurs and it involves a certain group of people, the group of people that don't even involve themselves in the war will be discriminated against. And it's sad, you know? You're probably like, oh, you're probably like a leftist. I'm not. I don't lean left or right because I don't like American politics. In my opinion, all it is, people just argue and nothing gets done. Like, if politicians, I never really talked about this. If politicians were really in favor, everybody would have rights, gun owners would be, have their rights restored, but that's not happening yet. Everything is debatable. I mean, we're literally in a free country where it took women until 1920 to be able to actually live as a freaking human being, right? It took black people until 1965 to actually be recognized as an actual person in the United States, okay? And we were the country spouting that we were the freest country on earth, right? And it's like, going off even deeper in the rabbit hole. It's like, we really say how, like, we're promoting freedom when we literally have seized islands from entire small tribes and nuked the hell out of them. I mean, right now, there are islands, right, in the Mariana Islands, like Bikini Atoll, who are still suffering radiation effects because we nuked their islands. And their fish are all poisoned, sick, birth defects are raised, all that stuff. Oh, and as it couldn't get any worse, we made our soldiers go clean up that mess, and they today have not had any compensation. Which is sad. I don't mean to be sad in December, man, but it's like, come on. I'm sorry if I'm getting maybe political, okay? But it's like, you know, I just like, it just kind of sucks to keep this doing things, right? It's like, I wanna like, right? And, like, another thing I want to say is, speaking of bigotry and hate, I have to point my finger at TikTok. This ad full of COVID. Does everybody realize how, like, before 2020, before the pandemic, there was not as much bigotry back in 2020, or back up, like, there wasn't as much bigotry before 2020, right? But then as soon as the pandemic hit and TikTok was released, like, everybody just grew this, like, the most evil part of everybody came out. The most hateful, awful part of everybody just got released. You know? Like, you know, and this is why society, in my opinion, is never progresses. Because we all have to fight, we all have to fight wars, we all have to argue with each other, instead of coming together for the common good of man. We all have to fight, argue, bicker, and debate. Like, we could solve world hunger right now. We could end the energy crisis. We could bring peace, but we don't. Because there's evil people. There's evil people in the world, you know? This is probably the deepest I've ever discussed on this channel. I think this all started from AR-15 discussion. But a message to my people, you know, there's gonna be evil people in the world. There's gonna be bad people in your life, right? But you gotta know when to move on. Push on. If you know, like, someone hates you for who you are, and you're like, no. Someone hates you for who you are, like, don't give them any money. You are who you are, man. Just like me, you're trying to survive in this world, right? Because I can tell you right now, with the worsening economy and the increased amounts of bigotry, you know, the world right now is a very tough place to live in. Things are different than things are different from when they used to be, right? Now we have to worry about tech, it's like, you know, I really hope everybody the best of luck. I hope everybody can find a way through these difficult times, you know. And speaking of politics, like, you know what, Arnold Schwarzenegger should have been president. He said, you know what he did? He was a Republican. And he said, what if we united Democrats, Republicans together for a common as a state senator? That was a very good way of thinking. Instead of fighting with the other side, he's like, no, let's come together and let's accomplish things. Let's do stuff. Let's build. right? Build bridges, fix our economy, fix our infrastructure, and increase our profits while making the people happy. And he did it. Why we have more governors like him? But it's like, man, like, I have to say it, what happened to the America I love? You know, everybody, like, it felt like 2020s and early 2020s have brought out the worst in people. Again, I know I saw it for the record, but like everybody's talking about each other, man. Like people me. And yeah, you might be like, oh, you're so big. Okay. I'm not offended by a whole lot of anything, really. I have tough skin. But it's like, I like this. Who wouldn't want to see people get along? Even though I like seeing people fight, realistically, you know, I do want people to get along together. It's like, you know, we're all human, right? We all have legs or arms. Some of us don't. We all have mental disabilities. We all have physical disabilities, different genders, whatever, orientation. But we're all human. Just know that. We all are human, right? We're the smartest organisms on planet Earth. We can literally do anything we want. We've built machines that can tend the Earth. We have built machines that can smash atoms. Machines that can fly you from places. Machines that can get you across the oceans. We're the smartest species on Earth, right? We're all human. Just remember that, man. We're all human. We're all built. We all look different. We're built different. But everybody's human. Everybody should be human. What's this? That's done. Wow, that was a deep conversation. I'm sorry that you got a little bit political there. I know I'm a hypocrite maybe sometimes, but I try to keep politics off the channel because it's, you know, politics has gone from calmly talking and solving issues to fighting people and being awful. Like, sometimes I wish I were in prison. Here's what I'd bring. First of all, what I would do as president, every human gets rights. All orientations, genders, all races get equal rights, right? Everybody's paid the same as each other. Second, gun rights. See, let's go. Limit automatic guns, but, you know, ban but that's not going to happen. You work, and this is going to sound very sad, but it's the truth. You're going to be born, right? And you're going to go to school for 12 years of your life, fork over money from your own pocket to send your kids to school. Then, you go to college, and you pay $150,000 to become, let's say, a coder, history, and biology. Or not, ancient history, you're probably going to learn things like, you know, reading and literature, and maybe social arts. Like, you're going to be paid $58,000, maybe even $70,000. You're going to work 9 hours a day, 5 days a week. And you're going to be overloaded with work, and you're going to be depressed, right? And after this, you work driving through the country, all things you could have done at 30, you can't. Because now you're old. You can't do it anymore. Because you're too old to do it. Your body is shut down. Your money is slowly whittled down. Oh, I have to change the broadcast.